It's a feeling almost all of us know entirely too well, right? It's that sudden pit in your stomach when a calendar invite unexpectedly pops up titled Annual Performance Review. For decades, that phrase is ranked right up there with a surprise trip to the dentist for a root canal. But what if it didn't actually have to be that way? Welcome to this explainer on modern workplace performance. Today, we're going to completely dismantle that outdated anxiety and explore a massive shift happening right now in the world of work. We're talking about the shift from the dreaded yearly appraisal to a culture of continuous growth. Take a second and honestly reflect on your own experiences. Why do we dread these things so much? Well, often, it's because these reviews kind of feel like a pop quiz on an entire year of your professional life. You might walk in and face sudden feedback you've literally never heard before, or find yourself being evaluated against expectations that, well, they were never made perfectly clear in the first place. It just feels one-sided, subjective, and honestly, a bit unfair. It's a huge workplace disconnect, and it just leaves employees frustrated and organizations totally falling short of their goals. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to hit beyond the annual review, defining performance management, the continuous performance cycle, management versus appraisal, measuring success objectively, and finally, the digital future. All right, let's jump right into section 1, beyond the annual review. We really have to start by acknowledging a hard truth here. Simply assigning work absolutely does not equal high performance. I mean, to achieve truly exceptional results, employees require way more than just a static task list. They need clear expectations set from day one, and they need continuous guidance. Think about it. How can someone possibly hit a target if no one is telling them their aim is off until 12 months later? High performance requires ongoing, constructive feedback, proper recognition, and actual, real opportunities for improvement. The environment, the leadership, and the workplace support matter just as much as an individual's raw ability. Moving right along to section 2, defining performance management. So how do we actually systematically provide that support and turn all those scattered tasks into a unified strategy? Well, HR expert Michael Armstrong defines performance management as a systematic process for improving organizational performance by developing the performance of individuals and teams. Now, the absolute key word here is developing. It completely flips the script. It tells us that this isn't merely about measuring an employee's past results or, finding their faults. It is actively about developing their potential, knowing that when the individual grows, the entire organization thrives. And having this structured approach naturally yields some major objectives. First off, it aligns your daily personal goals directly with the broader organizational objectives. It clarifies exactly what is expected of you, which naturally improves productivity. But most importantly, it supports employee development and facilitates fair decision-making. When you have a systematic approach in place, decisions about promotions, compensation, and career growth aren't just based on a manager's mood on some random Tuesday. They're based on fair, objective, and continuous data. Which brings us to section 3, the continuous performance cycle. To build an actionable, year-round system, modern organizations use these 6 continuous steps. It starts with planning, jointly setting clear expectations. Then, execution, where the employee actually does the work with the necessary support. Step 3 is monitoring that progress continuously. 4 is coaching and feedback. 5 is the actual performance review, where you compare the results back to those early goals. And finally, development planning, getting ready for the future. Human psychology tells us we need immediate feedback to course correct, much like how a GPS reroutes you the exact second you make a wrong turn. So try to frame this cycle in your mind as an ongoing, dynamic movie of continuous improvement, rather than just a single, isolated snapshot, because the moment you finish step 6, you roll right back into step 1. Let's drill down into coaching and feedback for a second, because they are absolutely the lifeblood of this entire cycle. Honestly, if you get this wrong, the whole system fails. Effective feedback must be all 5 of these things. It must be timely. Please, don't wait 6 months to address an issue. It needs to be specific and objective, pointing to actual data, not just vague feelings. Obviously, it must be respectful, and most importantly, it has to be development-oriented. The goal of feedback isn't to punish, it's to elevate the employee's knowledge, skills, and confidence. Okay, section 4, management versus appraisal. Now, this is the biggest point of confusion in the workplace today, and we are going to clear it up right now. Performance management is a continuous journey focused on broad, forward-looking employee development and performance improvement. Performance appraisal, on the other hand, is just a periodic, narrow assessment measuring past results. Put simply, management is the journey, appraisal is just checking the map along the way. If we distill all of that down, we get a golden rule. Performance appraisal is a part of performance management. It is absolutely not a substitute for it. To use our earlier analogy, the appraisal is just one single dramatic scene in the much larger movie of performance management. If an organization thinks their annual appraisal is their entire performance management system, well, they're completely missing the plot. Let's move on to Section 5, measuring success objectively. So if we're evaluating performance continuously as part of this broad management strategy, how do organizations actually track this progress fairly? Enter the KPI, or Key Performance Indicator. This is the critical tool that helps organizations remove that dreaded subjective evaluation and personal bias from the whole equation. A KPI isn't just some random number. It must be measurable, realistic, and directly tied to what the organization is actually trying to achieve. Whether it's the quality of work, sales achieved, customer satisfaction scores, or project completion rates, KPIs ensure that everyone is playing by the exact same transparent set of rules. And how we use those KPIs has completely evolved over the years. We are moving way away from traditional, rigid assessment methods like those basic 1 to 5 rating scales and simple checklists. Instead, modern organizations are utilizing methods like management by objectives, or MBO, where goals are highly customized, or take 360-degree feedback. This is where an employee gets evaluated not just by their boss, but by their peers, their subordinates, and even their customers. It creates this holistic, comprehensive picture, focused heavily on all-around development, rather than just a top-down critique. Finally, Section 6, the digital future. Think about it. Executing a continuous 360-degree performance cycle manually with paper files? Yeah, that's nearly impossible today. Instead, technology is totally revolutionizing this entire process. We now have highly sophisticated HR information systems, or HRIS. We have AI-assisted performance analytics that can literally identify skill gaps before they even become a problem. Employees and managers are using real-time performance dashboards and continuous feedback apps right on their smartphones. These digital tools vastly improve accuracy and transparency. And think about why this matters so much right now. In a world of remote and hybrid work environments, having digital, real-time data ensures that fairness and visibility are maintained no matter where your home office is located. Ultimately, this all brings us to a core insight. The leading organizations out there are completely abandoning once-a-year appraisals in favor of continuous performance conversations. They've finally recognized that waiting 12 whole months to tell someone how they're doing is just a recipe for disengagement. Continuous feedback drastically improves learning, it keeps motivation super high, and ultimately, it drives overall organizational performance throughout the entire year. Which leaves us with a critical question to end on today. Is your organization stuck in the past, relying on those anxiety-inducing annual meetings? Or are they actively embracing the power of continuous conversations and modern tools? That difference might just be the defining factor in your own career growth and your company's future success. So use what you've learned here to champion better feedback, expect clearer goals, and start having those continuous conversations today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.